Israeli forces have intensified their operations in Gaza amidst ongoing clashes, with Prime Minister Netanyahu reiterating the operations will persist until its objectives are met. Meanwhile, the U.S. ambassador toured aid facilities in Arish and the Rafah border crossing, while Pentagon has paused Gaza pier operations, citing logistical challenges. Rabindra Chauhan of DD India gets us more.
As the West Asia conflict continues, Israeli forces advanced further on Sunday into the Shaya neighborhood of northern Gaza and also pushed deeper into western and central Rafah in the south. Israeli tanks, which moved back into Shaya 4 days ago, fired shells towards several targets. The Israeli military said forces operating in Shaya had over the past day killed several Palestinian gunmen, located weapons, and struck military infrastructure. Meanwhile, just a day after a Hamas official reported no progress in ceasefire talks, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday stated that Israel is committed to fighting until achieving all goals. Backing hostage release deal that US President Joe Biden presented, Netanyahu said Hamas is the only obstacle to the release of our hostages.
Our forces are operating in Rafah, in Ceasefire, everywhere in Gaza Strip. Every day they are eliminating dozens of terrorists. This is a difficult struggle that is being waged above ground, sometimes in face-to-face battles, and it is also being waged underground. We are committed to fighting until we achieve our goal. There is no change in Israel's position regarding the release outline that President Biden welcomed. And today everyone knows the simple truth: Hamas is the only obstacle to freeing our hostages.
US Ambassador to Egypt visited aid facilities in Arish and the Rafah border crossing on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Pentagon announced on Friday that the US military's pier off Gaza was removed due to sea conditions, stating it would not return until aid from a nearby marshalling area reaches Gaza residents. On the other hand, Israel's finance minister has extended a crucial waiver allowing cooperation between Israeli and Palestinian banks in the West Bank. Originally set to expire at the end of June, the waiver permits Israeli banks to process shekel payments for the Palestinian Authority's services and salaries, preventing significant economic disruption. Rabindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
Sarah Coates is joining us live from Tel Aviv. Sarah, first of all, what more information are you picking up as far as the volatility and the way Gaza border continues to be simmering with these clashes, especially the north?
Hello, I'll bring you the situation with regards to the north of the Gaza Strip to begin with. We do know that this operation in the Shaya refugee camp has been going on since Thursday, and there have been casualties, of course, on both sides. The Israeli military says that over the past couple of days, some 40 Hamas fighters have been killed in this operation that it is calling a pinpoint operation, saying basically that Hamas fighters have regrouped in this area over the past few weeks. While the IDF also says that it's found extra Hamas infrastructure. Now, we did hear from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He says that fighting is happening above ground, underground, and sometimes there's hand-to-hand fighting, adding that Israeli forces will continue to fight in the Gaza Strip until absolute victory. But of course, this is concerning for these people who need to move out of that area. But once again, this is an area that the Israeli military says Hamas fighters have regrouped in after the military cleared it some months ago.
Netanyahu seems to be very clear that there's not going to be any letdown till the goals are achieved, quote unquote. He's talked about no change in Israel's position regarding the release outlined that President Biden has welcomed. We showed that in the report also. What more information can you share with us?
Well, there is, of course, a lot of hope that some sort of a ceasefire may come into play in the Gaza Strip, with this, of course, having follow-on consequences as potentially bringing the situation on Israel's northern border also under control. And this is the area that is of grave concern to international players right now, We have been hearing that rocket sirens have been activated over the last few minutes in these northern Israeli communities that are largely evacuated, with unconfirmed reports that at least 9 Israeli soldiers have been injured in an explosive-laden drone attack. So there is a lot of concern that any kind of miscalculation between Israel and Hezbollah could potentially tip the region into an all-out conflict. And there have been threats levelled by Israeli and Iranian officials over the past few days, warning of an obliterating war if Israeli soldiers do in fact go into Lebanon. Now, we also do need to tell you that the main hospitals in Israel's north, they've all been put on war mode, with staff at, say, the Galilee Hospital and also the Rambam Hospital in Haifa. They have been drilling for a mass casualty event where many people could come through these doors. So certainly this is a very concerning situation. At this hour, diplomatic efforts are failing. But once again, you mentioned this ceasefire. It doesn't look likely at this hour, but if in fact this were to happen, this could potentially bring tensions down on that northern border too.
All right. As of now, thank you, Sarah, for joining us live on Tel Aviv and bringing us up to speed with the situation there, particularly at the border.